Quinn McDaniel, the centerpiece of this offense, is on deck. First pitch from Nick Dean, fouled back, and we are underway. 2 o'clock on the dot. Mid-40s today, the wind blowing out. Yesterday we had the rain, today we have the wind. Always a fun weather day in March in College Park. And the 0-1 from Dean. Taken in there for a strike, quickly 0-2.
Rains 2 for 4 yesterday, 2 runs, 2 walks. Be looking to get more production out of them today.
The 0-2 from Dean. Just upstairs, it's 1-2. And Dean coming off an up-and-down day against Vanderbilt. This Maine team, obviously a lot different than the Vanderbilt offense, a top team in the country, but 5 innings, 6 hits, 6 earned runs, 6 strikeouts as well. 6 of those runs, 3 of them came via the homer. Yeah, down low and outside, 2-2.
Nick Dean has really been growing into his role as the second man in this lineup right now for the Terps. He's been really productive so far on the early season.
Has the changeup, the curveball, and the fastball. Strike 3, outside corner. 1 hitter, 1 strikeout for the right-hander Dean.
He's got 5+ strikeouts in each of his 3 appearances so far this season, and good to see him getting one early.
Now, as we mentioned, the centerpiece of this Black Bears offense, Quinn McDaniel. You look at his stats, Brian, and they're just off the charts.
I mean, 23 walks this early in the season is incredible.
Take strike 1. A 45% walk rate.
He had 3 walks yesterday, no hits. He'll be looking to still got on base, but he'll be looking to get some in the hit column today.
The 0-1 from the right-hander. On the way, just high. It's 1-1. A number of guys on this Maine side that have an average above 300. Of course, McDaniel, one of them, with an average above 400, sitting at 429. Now the 1-1 from Dean. Up high, 2-1.
Like you said, McDaniel having a very impressive season so far. American East Player of the Week last week. It was the second of his career after he slashed .625 at the plate in their series against Winthrop last weekend.
2-1 from Dean. Catches the inside part of the plate, 2-2. Crowd starting to file in here at the Bob. Nice to see the dedicated fans who stayed after the 3-hour rain delay we had yesterday. Start time was 7 p.m. That one swung on and missed. Strike 3. 2 down in the inning, both via the strikeout for Dean.
Nick Dean looks like he's feeling it early, and if you're Rob Vaughn, that's something you really want to see. Obviously, earlier on in the season, pitching a little bit of a question mark, but now that I think they've certainly settled in and found their groove, and Nick Dean's cooking on early on here in this one.
McDaniel, not a guy who strikes out often, so big out for the Terps. Now the first baseman, Jeremiah Jenkins, at the plate. Takes ball 1. Jenkins, the sophomore, Maryland native from Upper Marlboro, about 40 minutes away from College Park. 1-0, fly ball. Out to right center. Now Woods under it, makes the catch. A long run, and that does it for the top half of the first inning. 3 up, 3 down for Nick Dean and the Terps. We head to the bottom half of the first. Schliger, LaRusso, and Shaw due up for the Terps. Schliger will lead things off for the Terps. Schliger, LaRusso, and Shaw due up for Maryland.
Still interesting to see Schliger, catcher, leadoff spot, but he's got that speed, Rob Vaughn abilities.
Schliger takes outside, 1-0. Coming off a nice day at the plate, 3 for 5, a run, an RBI, and a stolen base last night. Now the 1-0 from Gambardella misses inside, 2-0. And Brian, one thing that Schliger has been so good at and makes him such an elite hitter is his plate discipline. He's tied for 3rd in the nation in hit by pitches, a great walk rate as well. This is a guy who's not going to swing of pitches outside the zone. That one's fouled to the left-hand side into the Maryland bullpen.
And one of the reasons is look how close he's up in the batter's box. He also kind of takes away that left side of the frame. The pitcher's either got to work to his right or risk hitting him and sending him on base.
The 2-1 from the right-hander. Inside and low, 3-1.
Like I said, that one almost hit him there on the lower part of the leg.
8 hit by pitches for Schliger this season. The 3-1 down the heart of the plate, 3-2. Talking with Maine's head coach Nick Derber before the game, he said one of the keys for the right-hander is going to be throw strikes. He has to control the zone from the mound. 3-2, chopped over to the second baseman McDaniel and into right center for a base hit. Right under the glove of McDaniel, and a leadoff single for Schliger and the Terps. Arguably the team's best hitter this season. Leads the Big Ten in RBIs. Fly ball into center, chases McNary back at the track, at the wall. It's gone! Nick LaRusso, stay hot!
And like I said, this Maryland roster knows how to sit and wait for their pitch. LaRusso unloading on that one for his 7th home run of the year. That leads the team. Tacking on another RBI as well. Two home runs in the contest yesterday. He was 3 for 5.
Shaw stands in there, takes strike one. Shaw, the 2 solo homers yesterday. Now 4 consecutive games with at least 2 hits for the junior. 0-1 from Gambardella. That's a fly ball into right. Takes plant back at the track, at the wall, off the base of the wall. Shaw around first, beats the throw, and slides into second safely. Back-to-back hits for the Terps. Back-to-back-to-back hits for the Terps. Ian Petruz now at the plate. Petruz takes high for ball 1. Talking about Summer League, Petruz had a nice season with the Amsterdam Mohawks in the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League. Hit nearly 304 home runs en route to a title for the Mohawks. Takes ball 2 inside. And Brian, you just look at the right-hander on the mound. Seems pretty rattled after giving up 3 straight hits to begin his first career start.
I was just going to say, it's never easy to start as a freshman, especially against a team as loaded as this Maryland roster. Just his 3rd home run given up of the season, but looks a little shaky out there after giving up double Shaw afterwards.
Similar to what the Terps did yesterday. We saw him put up the 8th spot in the 3rd inning and en route to a 25-run day. Now Shaw takes off for third, chopped over to the second baseman McDaniel, charges, throws in time, but Shaw moves up to third.
Just like Quinn McDaniel from Maine, Keister knowing how to work his way on base with 16 walks so far on the season.
That's top 20 in all of college baseball as the junior takes strike 1. That's what makes this Maryland offense so unique. They had a little trouble putting runs early on the board earlier this year, but these last few games, they've really strung together some nice innings early on.
Yeah, tough when you face your hardest competition of the season early on. Usually you want to work your way into the heart of your competitors, but doing pretty well so far in their last 2 against UMBC and now the Maine Bearcats.
12-6 win over UMBC thanks to a 6-run 8th inning, and of course yesterday, the huge 15-run win. Ground ball into left, charging play by Raines, throwing off his back foot, not in time. An infield single for Keister, an RBI single for Keister. Shaw scores. It is now 3-0 Maryland. Matt Woods with a Maryland high 3 runs yesterday. Went 2 for 3 at the plate as well. Waved at and missed in front of that one, strike 1. The last 2 games, Woods has really started to heat up. 4 for 6, 5 runs, 4 RBIs, and 2 triples as well.
Yeah, we talked about Lambros coming over from South Carolina, seeing how his bat would do in Big Ten, but Matt Woods done just as well coming over from Bryant.
Lays down a bunt. Gambardella coming off the mound, throws to first, just in time. Got Woods by a half a step.
Fans here not happy about that call.
He was called just out there. That brings up the transfer Hakopian. Keister now over at second. First pitch outside, 1-0.
Really impressive to see all these transfers having immediate impact on this lineup. Like we said, obviously, Lambros and Wood. Now our first look at Hakopian for the day. Transfer from Cypress College, 2022 All OEC first.
Now the 1-0. This is down low and outside. Nakopian originally was not a starter at Cypress College, but he found his way into the lineup after having a great weekend, 2 3-hit days. His dad was actually in town for that. And that was back last year, and ever since then, he ended up going on a 24-game hit streak. He was inserted into the starting lineup, and the rest is history. Now over at Maryland. Ground ball over the second baseman McDaniel. Throws in time for out number 3. But the Terps strike not once, not twice, but 3 times. 3 runs on 4 hits, highlighted by LaRusso's 2-run shot we had to the top half of the second inning. And Brian, a great first inning from the junior Dean.
Oh, definitely. 2 strikeouts already, like you said. He's got 5+ in all 3 of his appearances so far this season. 8 versus USF in that opener.
Goodman takes strike 1. Coming off a nice day at the plate, 2 for 5, a 2-run double. Also an RBI and a single as well.
Maine fans used to seeing Goodman wearing 31. Today he is on number 26 for the Black Bear.
Now the 1-1 from Dean. Fly ball into right center. Marslack drifting to his left and makes the catch for out number 1.
Batting 5th, left fielder number 22.
But Brian, we're seeing the ball carry early. As we saw LaRusso, of course, put a drive into the ball, and Shaw nearly had a homer to right field as well.
Yeah, the bats are certainly hot. Both teams picking up from those impressive offensive performances they both had last night.
Jeff Mejia now at the plate. Fouls it back over the Terps dugout, 0-1.
Calendar says March, but the ball is flying like June.
This park plays pretty small, which is to the advantage of a power-hitting team like the Terps. Pitch upstairs, 1-1. But that doesn't mean as a pitcher you can't have success. We saw last year, of course, the 3-headed monster of Ryan Ramsey, Nick Dean, and Jason Savacool all have success here at the Bob. Pitch is knocked down by Dean, a slow roller over the second, and an infield single for Mejia, the first hit of the day for the Black Bears.
Yes, speaking of Jason Savacool, phenomenal performance last night for their ace. 6 strikeouts and 6 innings pitched, just 1 run. Second one of the season, his second quality start.
Dean working with the runner on for the first time this afternoon. And the first pitch. Fly ball into left center. Going back is Lambros and Zamarslak. And Zamarslak right at the track. And it's just over the wall for a home run. Couldn't quite tell at first, but Maine strikes back with a 2-run shot courtesy of Miles Sargent. You're the Maine faithful right in front of us here.
Miles Sargent, good game yesterday. 3 for 5, 2 RBIs. He's got 2 early on in this one for his first home run.
Correction, batting 7th, right fielder number 4, Colin Plant.
Now Colin Plant at the plate for the Terps, or for the Black Bears. Joe's bunt takes outside and high, 1-0.
Plant not having a great season so far. 0 for 4 yesterday, just 1 for 16 on the season. The only hit coming in the loss versus Winthrop last Saturday.
Check swing foul down the third base side. LaRusso trying to make a play on it, and he does in foul territory. 2 down and a nice bounce back at bat for Dean.
Catcher number 44.
We talked about how Gambardella was going to come back mentally after allowing his home run. Now we get to see how Nick Dean reacts after letting one go of himself.
O'Neal at the plate. Fly ball into center. Lambros drifting back at the track, at the wall, and it's off the batter's eye, sliding into second, and a 2-out double for the Black Bears.
For a second, looked like Dean almost gave up his second of the contest. narrowly bouncing off the wall.
Batting ninth, center fielder number 35, Dylan McNary.
So Dean having a little trouble putting Maine down in order here in the second inning. 2-run shot and a near home run that clanged off the batter's eye. McNary at the plate. First pitch to him is taken for a strike.
McNary 2 for 4 yesterday. 2 RBIs. Has started every appearance he has had so far in the season.
Pitch ripped down the third base line, hooking foul. Nick Dean has had a rough last couple of starts. He's allowed 4 or more earned runs in 7 of his last 11, dating back to last season, of course. Gave up the 3 home runs against Vanderbilt, but this Maine Black Bears team may be of lower caliber compared to a top 10 Vanderbilt side, but they certainly have the offense, and we're seeing it tonight, and we saw it yesterday as well.
Well, you know what they say, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Nick Dean had a great start, obviously. 2 strikeouts early on. He did allow that 2-run home run, as we just saw a few minutes ago. But with 2 outs and a man on second in scoring position, let's see how he bounces back.
And the 1-2. Fly ball into left center, drops down for a hit. Extra bases for McNary. O'Neal will score, and sliding ahead of the throw inside second. And McNary with an RBI double. We're tied up at 3 here in the second.
Shortstop, Jake Reynos.
Credit to the bottom of the order, Brian, for Maine. You look at O'Neal and McNary, 2 guys who haven't necessarily torn the ball off the cover this year, but both with doubles, and Sargent in the 6-hole with a 2-run shot. So the bottom of the order getting it done for the Black Bears. That one's driven down the third base line. Sliding play by LaRusso. Gets up, throws in time by a step. But Maine strikes back with 3 of their own. Marslack 1 for 3 on the nightcap yesterday with 2 walks, swing and a miss for strike 1. And even though he hasn't necessarily had the best season at the plate, hitting just over 200, finds one over to the shortstop, Rains backhanded play, throws in time to get Zmarzlak by a step for out number 1. Even though Zmarzlak hasn't had the best time at the plate this season,
3-2 count in their favor, and just either take their pitch, get on base, or put one in play.
The South Carolina transfer, Elijah Lambros at the plate. Career high 2 homers yesterday, including his first career grand slam back in the 3rd.
2 home runs, RBIs, first career grand slam. There's really not much more you could ask from the transfer if you're head coach Rob Vaughn.
7 RBIs, the most by any Terp this season, and the most since Matt Shaw's 3-homer, 8 RBI day last May. Fly ball into right, sends Plant back at the track, at the wall, makes the catch right in front of the wall for out number 2. Top of the order for the Terps, Luke Schliger singled back in the 1st, came around to score on the 2-run shot from LaRusso. Takes inside, 1-0. So far in the second inning, a nice bounce back effort from the freshman righty.
Yeah, it's all about how you bounce back early on situations. Obviously, he's a freshman, first career start. Gonna be some nerves, some jitters. And he's human, they're prone to errors on the mound, on the plate, whatever, but it's all about how you bounce back. You can't control what happens, but you can control how you react to it. Learn from it.
2-0 from the freshman. Hit down the first base side. Easy play for the first baseman. Jenkins steps on the bag for out number 3. 1-2-3 down for the freshman Gambardella. We head to the top half of the 3rd inning.
Like we said, obviously kind of a uncharacteristically quiet day for Daniel yesterday. No hits, but did have a characteristic 3 walks. He's got 23 so far on the season with an on-base percentage upwards of 600.
First pitch outside in the dirt, 1-0. 1-0 inside from the right-hander. I'm excited to see this matchup today, Brian, between one of the best hitters in all of college baseball so far in Quinn McDaniel against Nick Dean, who's one of the aces for this Terps team. And the 2-0. Just outside, and one of the things that Maine head coach was talking to me about Nick Derba was how disciplined Quinn McDaniel is. That's what separates him from the rest of the guys on that team. Is he's not just taking balls outside the plate, but he's making sure he's swinging at strikes. We see him take another ball outside the zone there, and a 4-pitch walk worked by the junior.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Takes really generous lead off first.
It's all the tools. Throw back to first, being concerned with the speedy McDaniel over at first. Exciting one so far. We saw LaRusso kick the scoring off with a 2-run shot over the batter's eye. Part of a 3-run inning, taken for a strike. And the count now 1-2. And then Maine responding with 3 of their own, thanks to a 2-run shot from Miles Sargent, the Maine third baseman.
Different type of ball game than what we saw yesterday. Obviously, Maryland coming up that early lead. Maine didn't battle back until late. By then, the lead was far too gone for them.
And now the pickoff throw nearly gets McDaniel. Gets back just in time.
Copian was not happy with that one.
He started to take a step towards second and had to come back quickly. Heads up play by Dean. Nearly nabbed to McDaniel. One-two to McDaniel upstairs, and once again the throw down to first, this time from Schliger. Not in time.
They're giving McDaniel a lot of attention over there at first base. Dean has not done a great day with runners in scoring position, as we saw the 2-run home run. The RBI single tied this game up. He does not want Daniel extending lead to second with just 1 out.
I think that's about 5 throws back to first now. Nick Dean certainly concerned with the speedy McDaniel over at first. 2-2. And a short blooper that falls out of the reach of Matt Shaw into left field for a base hit. The Maine offense continuing to roll along here in the third. Now 2 on, only 1 out.
One of the strengths that Nick Dean has had that we said earlier on is he's been able to give the Terps some length in his appearances, going 5+ innings in each of those, but allowing 3 runs in the second, now 2 men on base, 1 in scoring position with just 1 out. See if Rob Vaughn sends some arms out to the bullpen. Not necessarily a warm-up, just to get out there. We'll see what Dean's got left. He does have 2 strikeouts so far today.
Mejia shows bunt. Bunts it across down the third base side. Schliger sliding throws just in time. A nice small ball opportunity there for Mejia. He moves both runners up 90 feet, but a nice play by Schliger, as that would have been trouble for most catchers, but Schliger making it look easy behind the dish.
Schliger, one of the best catchers in all of college baseball right now. We were talking about summer performances earlier. He was an all-star for the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox in the Cape Cod League, bringing his talents back to College Park junior year. Many think he'll be a highly touted draft prospect come June.
First pitch from the right-hander, Dean, just outside, 1-0. Miles Sargent unloaded with a 2-run bomb in his last at-bat. Got just over the glove of Zamarzlak. Wasn't quite sure at first if he had brought it back or not, but fortunately for the Black Bears, he did not. And Maine went on to score 1 more and a chance to take the lead here. A golden opportunity, 2 down with 2 runners on. Loop foul down the first base side, now 1-1.
If Dean wants to get out of this pickle with 2 outs, he's got to work on his control. Not let the ball get away from him. Don't load the bases. Got a good 1-1 count here to work with.
Dean armed with the curveball, the fastball, and a lethal changeup. Pitch outside, 2-1. Fastball usually sits low to mid-90s. Changeup in the high 70s, and a breaking ball in the low 70s. And Coach Morrison has said in the past he can be one of the best pitchers in all of college baseball when his changeup is on. Fouled back once again. So a nice battle here between Sargent and Dean. Sargent looking for a second hit off the right-hander this afternoon. Goodman over at second, McDaniel on third. 2-2.
That home run for Sargent, just his second of the career. First coming against Colby College last season.
Big pitch coming up from Dean. 3-2-2 on. And the pitch waved at and missed. A big swing and a miss for Nick Dean. Gets out of the jam, and we're tied at 3. We head to the bottom half of the third inning.
To go for the freshman, obviously LaRusso, the home run, his last time out. Team leading 7th here.
The Villanova transfer looking to do some more damage. Cut on and miss for strike one. He leads this team in average home runs, runs, hits, RBI, slugging, OPS. The list goes on and on. He takes outside ball one. He's been such a key cog in this lineup for the Terps. It's interesting because LaRusso and Shaw recently flip-flopped the 2-3 spots in the order. Now the 1-1. Taken in there for a strike, and ever since then, it's done a lot of great for both Shaw and LaRusso, and Coach Vaughn said there wasn't any really special scientific plan he had to it. He just watching some highlights from last year, and he saw that LaRusso was hitting in front of Shaw and remembered the success they had, so he decided to change things up. Slide out to right, high fly ball, Plant drifting over to his left, into the corner, and that one's just foul. And it's out, excuse me. That one was caught just out of our viewing range down the right-hand side, and in the very near corner, that one's caught.
Certainly worked. Both have heating up the plate in recent contests. Obviously, both Shaw and LaRusso with 2 home runs yesterday. Shaw's plate.
Shaw takes strike one, evens the count. Now the freshman has retired 5 consecutive batters. Doesn't get any easier with Shaw and Petruz looming on deck. 1-1. Sliced into right field, and just in front of Plant for a base hit. Matt Shaw, 2 for 2 on the day, a double, and now a single. Takes down the heart of the plate for strike one. Brian, on a day like today where it's 40 degrees and windy, if you're Petruz, your hand's got to be freezing. He doesn't sport the batting gloves. He says he just never has and doesn't expect to anytime soon.
Yeah, I noticed it in his first at-bat, especially if you get a bad hit off that ball, stings your hand. That's going to be a lot of pain going down that first base line, but it seems to work for him. Obviously, the 2 grand slams early on in the season for him.
Petruz a total of 5 homers, 3rd in the Big Ten, 2nd on the team behind LaRusso, now with 7.
It's a fantastic textbook designated hitter. Big hits when he's called upon. Now, man on first and 1 out, looking to do some damage.
Shaw going, pitch up high, throw down to second, not nearly in time. Skips into center field, but Shaw will stay right over at second.
Maine Black Bears. Now with the runner in scoring position, this is where Petruz comes to life.
Shaw off again. Throw outside, no throw down to third. 2 stolen bases for Matt Shaw, and using his legs, he gets into scoring position for Maryland. Matt Shaw so good at the plate. He has the speed too, showcasing his 5-tool ability. 2-2. Fouled back, and the count remains 2-2. So a nice battle here between Petruz and the freshman Gambar Della.
Shaw 2 for 2 on the day. Looking 3 for 3, or sac fly will do the job. Shaw will score home on that. Give Maryland the lead back.
3 infielders on the right side. That one's fouled back. We've seen other teams like USF put the shift on Petruz as well.
And closely on that right-hand side, looking to see if They go home with this one if it's headed in their direction. Trying to keep Shaw honest at third.
2-2. Slowly popped foul right in front of the Maine bullpen, and the count will remain even at 2. Petruz getting on base at an over 400 clip, over 1,000 OPS as well, hitting 280 at a really hot start to the season. He's cooled down a bit, but again, still finding ways to get on base. Working a great at-bat here. 2-2. Waved at and missed. He was out in front of it, and strike 3, 2 down here in the bottom of the 3rd.
We were talking earlier, not the greatest at the plate, definitely knows how to work his way on base. Team leading 16 walks.
Takes strike 1, and we saw last year, Brian, he was excellent both power and the short game at a .320 average, 11 homers, and find different ways to get on base, and earned him a spot on the All Big Ten team, his first team All Big Ten. Takes outside 1-1.
And it's not hard to see why. Obviously, everyone on last year's Maryland roster having an incredible offensive performance, and Kevin Keister was just a great cog in that wheel. Now working his way up to 5 spot.
The infielders back into their normal positions, 2 on the left, 2 on the right side. Sprayed out to right and hooking foul onto the roadway. Nearly hits a a car driving by. Hey, you gotta be careful if you're driving. Gotta keep your eyes peeled on the road, but also gotta watch out for any errant foul balls.
Saw that car coming around the corner, almost earned itself a souvenir. Kevin Keister foul ball.
Now the count 1-2. Both teams with 3 runs and 5 hits. Keister takes high, 2-2. A great opportunity here for the Terps, as Shaw reached on the single, stole second, promptly stole third. 2-2 from Gambardella. Chopped over the third. Sargent has it. Throws just in time. Barely beats Keister. And that does it from here in the third. Both teams even at 3, even with 5 hits as well. A tight one as we head to the 4th here in College Park. You're watching Maryland baseball on Big Ten Plus. Plant fouled out in his first at-bat. Rips one down the first base side. A nice sliding play by Hakopian. Loses it. Tosses the first just in time.
What a great heads-up play by Hakopian. Loses it at the first base. Nick Dean with the wheels to get over from the mound to first base for the first out for the Terps. We saw in that last inning, Nick Dean was able to work out of trouble. 2 men in scoring position with 1 out. Able to come back and get the game tied at 3, showing off some athleticism on the put out there.
And the pitch taken for a strike to Dean O'Neill. And the reason Eddie Hakopian won the starting job at first base, Vaughn said, was because of his defense. He was able to beat out Bulma and Ian Petruz as well over at first. And plays like that shows why he is the starting first baseman. Pitch up high, 1-1.
O'Neill, like we said, 0 for 1 yesterday in his first, now getting his first collegiate start, his first collegiate hit. Westchester, PA.
1-1 out in front of that one, strike 2.
It's interesting to see Maine using a variety of catchers. Obviously, didn't get the start yesterday, start today. They have 3 on their roster they rotate through.
Dropped over to the shortstop, Shaw. Charges, throws in time. Out number 2.
Shaw is so great defensively. I saw him pregame down by the dugout. He was taking some soft ground balls barehanded, just working on his form. You can do it without the gloves. You certainly can do it with it.
We have 2 Villanova transfers on the field right now. LaRusso, of course, with the Terps over at third. Transfer Dylan McNary at the plate for the Black Bears. And that one's lined into center for a base hit. First pitch he sees, jumps on the right-hander and lines one into center. A 2-out knock for the 9-hole hitter McNary.
McNary just appeared in 10 games last year. Only a 1 start. Getting on base early. Remain here.
Top of the order for the Black Bears, Reynes 0 for 2 on the day with a strikeout looking back in the first. Coming into today, a nearly 400 average. He's excelled at the plate. Runner off, pitch high, throw down to second, and sliding just ahead of the tag is McNary. And one of the things that really stands out about Luke Schlicker is his arm strength, but just a second late on that throw.
He's been phenomenal behind the plate so far this season. Second throw out, he's just missed. White get there in time to play. His helmet might have gotten his eyes a little bit on the throw.
Now a runner in scoring position here for the fourth for the Black Bears. Rains out in front of that pitch. The changeup working this afternoon for Dean, and the count even at 1.
Facing a runner in scoring position for the third time today. Allowed a 2-run home run, RBI single, but has been good so far since getting out of the pickle last inning with 2 men on base in scoring position, second, third. He's got 3 strikeouts so far today. His 4th inning of work. Just a great output for Dean.
1-2 on the way. In the dirt, 2-2. Coach Rob Vaughn has talked about that Nick Dean was the team's biggest get this summer because he had a lot of interest with a couple of MLB clubs, and he had a certain amount of money that he had in mind for a signing bonus that he was looking to have. But he decided ultimately to come back to the Terps for a junior year, as that one's fouled back and the count remains 2-2.
He's been invaluable to the team so far early on. Like we said, great performances, 8 strikeouts versus South Florida, 6 versus Vanderbilt at Cambria College Classic last weekend. And he's wheeling and dealing out there so far. 3 strikeouts, so just 3 innings of work. He's looking good out there.
2-2, runner going outside, and the throw spiked to foul territory, and that rolls all the way past the dugout.
Throw went off the bat of Raines there. Looks like he might have had him, too. He had a great pop on that one. They're laughing about it down the plate, but I'm sure Slinger's pissed he couldn't throw off.
They certainly would have had a good opportunity, but instead a runner on third, 2 down here for the Black Bears. 3-2. Chopped down the third base line, but hooking foul. Maine putting up a great fight here, especially at the plate. 3 runs on 6 hits, and we're in the 4th inning. Another runner on scoring position for Maine.
So far in this early half game, looking like a completely different team out there for Maine than what we saw last. Great offensive production, good pitching. Could be a great contest.
3-2. Swung on and missed. 4 strikeouts on the afternoon for Nick Dean. Maine strands the runner, and we head to the bottom half of the 4th inning, all knotted up at 3. You're watching Maryland baseball on the Big Ten Plus.
As he's been facing the hardest hitters he's probably had to so far this season.
Matt Wood steps up to the plate to take strike 1. Was out on a fielder's choice in his first at-bat back in the first.
Wood Bryant transfer.
Ripped down the first base side into right field for a base hit. Takes a big round first, but decides to stay, and a leadoff single for Maryland. Akopian, another transfer at the plate. Check swing, strike 1. Akopian's dad attended practice on Thursday. Of course, if you're not familiar, Eddie Akopian's dad is one of the all-time greats. Derek Akopian played here at Maryland, 1992 All-American, won the ACC Triple Crown, en route to being named ACC Player of the Year as his son chopped one over the third. On to second for 1, on to first, not in time, but the Black Bears get the lead runner.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
First career Grand Slam. 2 total home runs, 7 RBIs, which is also a career high. He's been a great addition to this Terp roster.
And talking with him yesterday, he said that just seeing the ball fly out. He didn't think he had enough of it on that grand slam swing, but got over the wall and carried well over the wall. The grand slam, as he mentioned, first career grand slam. He's now reached base 12 of his last 13 games, looking to reach base for the first time this afternoon. Hakopian over at first, 1-0. Outside part of the plate, 1-1. He also said that just how keeping himself mentally in the game after we had that 3-hour rain delay, how you stay focused for an additional 3 hours for the actual game. He said it's just about taking one at-bat at a time and not focusing on the previous result. Taking strike 2. Like a lot of the guys, he stayed the varsity team house in their locker area for that 3-hour rain delay. Now, I believe he said they were given the choice to go back. I'm not 100% sure about that, but said he wished he went back and took a nap and played Xbox, went back to his apartment. That one's lined into right for a base hit. Lambros stays hot at the plate. A single to right. 2 on, 2 outs for the Terps. Hakopian on second, Lambros at first. First pitch to Schliger, right down the heart of the plate, 0-1. Gambardella in some trouble, throws back down to second, not in time. First time working with 2 runners on since that first inning.
I was going to say this is a big test for Gambardella so far. He's been able to keep it close, keep the game tied, hasn't allowed a run since that first inning, but now with 2 men on base and one of the more prolific hitters in the Maryland roster up the bat.
And the 0-1. Line past the diving reins into left for a base hit. Hakopian rounding third. A play at the plate, but it's cut off by the pitcher. 0 for 9 on the season, went hitless on opening day and was hitless his next 4 at-bats in that game 2 of the season against USF. But he remained confident in his abilities and certainly paid off. Takes ball 1, it's 1-0. 2 runners on for the Terps. Schliger over at first after the RBI single. Outside 2-0. Lambros at second. Two-0 from Gambardella. Outside 3-0.
3-0 count here. I wonder if LaRusso's going to take this or Gambardella is going to give him something down the middle.
You have to wonder if the pitching coach, Brian, talked with the catcher O'Neill and pitcher Gambardella about their approach to LaRusso. He flies one out to right. Going back is the center fielder McNary, and Plant makes the catch right in front of the wall.
1 run, 3 hits.
Allowed out for LaRusso.
Looks like Coach Rob Vaughn is elected to send a few arms down in the bullpen, warm them up. Now Maryland has the lead at 1.
McDaniel takes inside, ball 1. Walked in his first at-bat, was stranded over at third.
Daniel right now leads the American batting average, slugging, on base.
He's out in front of that one. Nick Dean's changeup working this afternoon, 1-1.
Currently first on his at-bat, runs, hits, triples, walks. Second in basically everything else.
A big swing and a miss from the second baseman, McDaniel. Now 1-2. Ever since Dean made that change from the circle change grip to more of a traditional grip in high school, his changeup has been lethal. Chop down the third, barehanded throw from LaRusso. Not in time off the line. Nice job by Hakopian from preventing it getting into foul territory. and a leadoff single for McDaniel.
First baseman.
Good hustle by LaRusso. Looked like that ball took a little bit of an odd hop on that third bounce there. Able to corral it barehanded, but throw just a little off, a little late. Still though preventing the error.
Now McDaniel has reached base twice in all 11 games this season.
Again, Nick check back. He said Daniel leading Maine Black Bears in stolen bases.
Jenkins at the plate. 0 for 2, popped up to the third baseman in foul territory. LaRusso in his last at-bat. Nice catch by LaRusso right in front of his own dugout. Taken for strike one. Goodman on deck for the Black Bears. Dean looking to finish off a 5th consecutive inning. Throw back to first, not in time.
Could be his fourth outing, 5 innings of work. Looking to make the 4th outing 5 strikeouts, 2. Couldn't quite get it on the one pitch to Daniel last bat. Blue first. Dean checks him back. Dean must be really afraid. McNeil taking off for a second. Flicker almost had him on that last attempt. Quite get it.
And the 0-1. Cuts inside the part of the plate, 0-2. And Brian, if you're Maine right now and head coach Nick Derber, you have to be happy at where your team sits in this game, only down 1 run after getting absolutely blown out yesterday.
Oh yeah, at this point last game, I believe they were down double-digit runs.
Yes.
The way they're able to keep it at just 1 right now is a great testament to his coaching, his players' ability to bounce back. And the pitching from the freshmen is pretty good for Maine, too.
Yeah, definitely give credit to Gambardella, who allowed 1 run back in the 4th, but a scoreless 2nd and 3rd innings, giving his team a chance to win. Lined over to the second baseman, Keister elects to go to second for 1, on to first in time! A great scoop by Akopian, and a 4-6-3 double play, a gem for the Terps.
That's the energy this Maryland roster needed. Dean allowed the leadoff single to McDaniel, checked him back a few times, didn't want him advancing to second, and just a great double play.
First pitch to Goodman outside. That was a great play all around. Give credit to Keister for heads-up play going to second, and a quick play by Shaw over at second as a shortstop, and a even better pick by Hakopian. Now 1-1 count. He transferred that ball so quickly from the glove to the hand. Shaw did, and over the Hakopian for the 4-6-3 double play. 1-1. Lined into center, past the diving Shaw. It's a 2-out knock for the DH Goodman.
Goodman now 2 for 3 on the day with that last at bat. 2 for 5 last night with 3 RBIs. On base now for his 2nd time of the game.
That makes the double play from the Terps all the more important, or else the Black Bears would have a runner in scoring position. Instead, the runner erased over at second, and runner on first with 2 outs. Mejia at the plate. 1 for 1 with a single, and the run scored back in the second. Swung on and missed, 0-2.
Yeah, the Massachusetts native hasn't had the most productive at-bats so far this season. 2 walk game last night, 2 RBI so far in the season.
Stays alive. That was kind of just a survival take there from Mejia. Fouls it back, and the count remains 0-2.
Dean really looking for his 5th strikeout of the game to extend the streak so far this season.
Dean sets on top of the hill. 0-2. Lined right back up the middle. Finds Shaw and scoops it up and steps on second. And that ends the top of the fifth inning. Halfway home here from College Park. Terps lead 4-3. We head to the bottom half of the fifth inning. You're watching Maryland baseball on the Big Ten Plus. Brimfield, Massachusetts product, Matt Shaw. First pitch to Shaw, just high for ball one. I know, standing next to me, I have another New England native. 1-0. Just inside, it's 2-0.
Matt Shaw, like you said, Brimfield, Massachusetts, the MVP of Cape Cod Baseball League this summer for the Bourne Braves, winning the championship alongside fellow Maryland pitcher Nigel Belgrave.
2-0 from the right-hander. Sprayed foul down the first base side. What's the weather looking like in Connecticut right about now?
Probably colder than this, unfortunately.
And that's one of the interesting things looking at the Maine schedule. They don't have their first home game until very end of March. Lined up the middle. Raines has it. Throws in time for out number one.
Both teams have sent pitchers to their respective bullpens. No one up and moving yet, exactly.
Ian Petruz takes outside ball one. 0 for 1 on the afternoon with a strikeout back in the third. Dan Bardello with a total of 2 strikeouts on the afternoon. Outside again, 2-0. So this time we don't see Maine put the 3-man shift on the right side of second base. 2 on the left, 2 on the right. 2-0 to Petruz. Right down the middle for strike one.
The last time Petruz was up, Shaw was at third in scoring position, trying to prevent the RBI opportunity. But ended up on that one. And the inning.
2-1 pitch. A high fly ball over to the third baseman, Sargent, coming in and makes the catch. Brian, we saw a lot of scoring early, 6 runs in the first 1.5 innings combined, but only 1 run since.
There's some great adjustments by both pitchers, obviously, both giving up 3 runs, like you said, in those first 2 innings. Both been able to bounce back. Obviously, Maine let 1 go there in the bottom 4th. Since then, been lights out for both sides.
Swung on and missed. 1-1 count to Keister. Dan Bardella earned the win in his last appearance. He's made 3 appearances this year, and he's been handed the decision in all 3. Sharply grounded over the Sargent. Throws on the bounce. Jenkins unable to make the scoop. The ball caroms into the bullpen area for Maine, and over the second goes Keister. Runner in scoring position for Maryland for the 3rd consecutive inning. Strike 1 to Woods. Woods has had a great eye at the plate this season. 6 walks, 4 hit by pitches coming into today. Throw down to second. Keister gets back.
Another errant throw there. Second base, wonder if the wind is playing a factor. Did picking up flags in left field.
Now the 0-1. Petruz out in front of that one. Pops it into shallow right. McDaniel under it. Makes the catch. For out number 3. Terps threaten but do not score. Clinging to a 1-run lead, we head to the 6th inning. You're watching Maryland baseball on the Big Ten Plus.
4 strikeouts, just 1 walk, had control issues early, but was able to corral it and has held Maine scoreless in second.
First pitch, low and outside, 1-0. Sargent, the recipient of the 2-run shot back in the second. Nick Dean has cooled down since then, only 2 runs allowed since that 2-run shot. Fly ball into the alley and left, gets down for a base hit. All the way to the wall. Big turn from Sargent, and standing in safely with the double. A leadoff double for the Black Bears, and they're in business here in the 6th.
Right fielder Colin Plant.
Great piece of hitting there by the third baseman Sargent. Now a chance for the bottom of the order to do damage again like they already have today. Look at the 8-9 hitters with 3 hits combined, including 2 extra base hits.
Plant so far today, though, 0 for 2.
Goes bunt, fouls it back. Now 0-1.
Not reached base today, is just 1 for 18 on the season as he currently stands. Box.
Sargent over at second. 0-1 pitch. Up high outside, 1-1. Dean among the Big Ten leaders in innings pitched, strikeouts as well, leads this team with 19 strikeouts coming into today. Waved at and missed 1-2. He has 4 on the day, 1 strike away from getting number 5. He had 6 Ks against Vanderbilt last time out on the 4th.
Got really good stuff out there on the mound. Like you said, 6 against Vanderbilt, 8 against USF in that first series down there in Florida.
1-2 on the way. Dropped foul over to the on-deck circle. The catcher O'Neill waiting on deck. He's 1 for 2 with a run back in the second. Changeup really working for Dean today. Trying to pull one more out of his bag. 1-2. Lined into center, just in front of the center fielder Lambros. And over the third goes Sargent. So runners at the corners for the Black Bears.
Now it's going to be a big test upcoming for Nick Dean. No outs, man on first and third.
Catcher Dean
Big
O'Neill.
spot here for Maine. Only down 1 in the 6th inning. 3 runs on 10 hits this afternoon.
Dean with his first hit in this game so far.
O'Neill rips one down the third base line. We could hear the grunt from up here, but it
As
hooks foul.
He looks to bring in his first career RBI. Excuse me, his second. And on third.
Runners at the corners for Maine. Sargent started the inning off with the double, moved to third on the Colin Plant single. Pitch off the knob of the bat. It's the top of the visiting dugout and falls back down. Big spot for Dean. 0-2 pitch. Cuts outside, 1-2. Well, Maine certainly came to play today. They were outclassed yesterday at the plate, but today going toe for toe with the Terps. 1-2 from Dean. Fouled over to the top of the home dugout now.
Be really interesting to see how Dean comes back this one. Like I said, no outs. Runners on the corners. Double play is in realm of possibility, but then tying run would cross the plate. Strikeout would be ideal for Dean.
1-2 pitch. Flied into center for a base hit. Maine ties the game thanks to an RBI knock from the catcher O'Neill. And we have a brand new ball game here in the 6th.
This Maine team looking very different from what we saw last night. Staying close in this contest, tying it there. Their first run, top of the 2nd, as Schliger goes out to have a conference with his.
Littman coming off a rough outing against Hawaii. Only lasted a third of an inning, gave up 2 runs on 1 hit, which was a home run, a walk, and a strikeout back on Sunday.
5th year from Denison, the D3 All-American, first team All-NCAC. Numbers in 2022, 7-1 record, sub-2 ERA, 61 in the 3rd innings work.
McNary with back-to-back 2-hit games. Shows bunt. Once right in front of the pitcher, Littman throws to first just in time, but that advances both of the runners. McNary having an excellent day at the plate. He moves both runners up via the small ball and 2 hits as well. That turns it over to the top of the order, where Jake Raines, an above 300 hitter, is 0 for 3 on the afternoon.
And if there's ever a time for one of their lead guys to get going, it would be now with runners in scoring position at 2nd and 3rd with just 1 out.
Coach Rob Vaughn having a quick conversation. Home plate umpire Joe Cruz, not sure what that exactly was about. Regardless, 2 runners on, 1 out. An excellent opportunity here for Maine to take their first lead of the afternoon. Raines at the plate. Outside ball 1.
Early test here for Littman. 1 out, 2 men in scoring position with the game tied back 4.
Taken in for a strike. Count even at 1-1.
No one at first, so no chance of the double play. Gonna have to work our way out of this one.
Outside 2-1. Littman was used as a hybrid guy for Denison. Started a few games, also came out of the pen. His slider is really what makes him so great. Of course, as you mentioned, the All-American from Denison University fouls it back 2-2. Coming up in the big spot here, as Nick Dean left a mess for him. Again, 5 innings, 11 hits allowed for the right-hander. Give credit to the Maine offense. Guys 1 through 9 have all contributed today, as that one's fouled off the mask of Luke Schliger.
Like you said, so great with that slider. We'll see if he breaks it out here on the 2-2 count. Don't necessarily want to go into a full count situation with much for the strikeout, but walk, while does not advance any runners, puts him in an even tougher.
2-2 pitch. Lined over the third baseman, LaRusso. Has only 1 play. It's over at first in time for out number 2.
That's probably the best case scenario you could get if you're Eddie Littman. Gets to out, no runners advance. Now with 2 out, got some leeway here. Still with runners threatening, but much more manageable situation for the 5th-year right hand.
This is arguably the biggest plate appearance now of the game. Quinn McDaniel, star black bear at the plate. He's 1 for 2 on the day with an infield single back in the 5th. A half-hearted swing for strike 1. He has not had great at-bats the last 2 games. He's had a few of them, but when you look at the strikeout back in the 1st inning, he was out in front of a few pitches from Dean back in the 5th. Now here in the 6th, A ill-advised swing on pitch 1. Takes outside 1-1.
We know he's a walk specialist. Obviously, 3 in the game yesterday. Staggering 23 on the year so far. Definitely not looking for a walk in this scenario with men on second and third.
1-1. A high fly ball into right. Woods a long run. And just out of play. That one nearly hits another oncoming car as it finds the road.
That one was much closer.
That was real close.
That car last time out.
Count moves to 1-2. Sargent got things started with a double, followed by a plant single, RBI single from O'Neill. McNary moved the runners up with a sac bunt, and then Raines grounded out to the third baseman. Outside, 2-2.
Littman looked a little jumpy at the plate there. Wonder if his performance these last games has reached base a few times via the walk, like I mentioned, but just one hit so far in the series.
2-2. A high fly ball, looking foul once again. Hakopian gives chase, and it lands in the roadway once again. And Hakopian's a guy who's had great control. You look at last year, a 6-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. He was striking out nearly 14 guys per 9 innings over at Denison. He's only walked 1 this year coming into today.
Daniel, just a little early. Excuse me, a little late on these balls, sending them over the first base line.
2-2, chopped over to Keister. Has some trouble fielding it, throws just in time to get the speedy McDaniel. The Maine faithful doesn't like it. The Terps escape with only 1 run allowed.
Aaron, you and me were talking about in the half inning. We did not expect the freshman to outlast Nick Dean out there on the mound, but he's looked good so far. 2 strikeouts against this tough Maryland roster, which gave Maine such troubles last night. 8 hits, 4 runs allowed so far in 5 innings. Pitch count getting up there. He's sitting at 85 right now.
This is a career high in terms of innings pitched for Gambardella. That one's in there for a strike.
But I think if you're head coach Nick Durba, you got to be happy about your freshman giving you, especially after your ace faltered last night in the open.
Previous 3 appearances this year all went 3 innings. This time he's working into a 6 against a high-powered offense. That one's inside. Hakopian gets out of the way, 1-2. Hakopian came around to score after reaching on a fielder's choice back in the 4th. One-two pitch. Slowly chopped over the shortstop. Raines charges, throws in time for out number 1. Bobby Zmarzlak 0 for 2 on the afternoon. First pitch to him. Squibs it out into center for a base hit. Off the end of the bat, and a 1-out single for Zmarzlak. Plate singled and was stranded on second back in the 4th. Zmarzlak over at first. And the pitch. First pitch swinging, chopped over to the third baseman, Sargent, over the second for 1. On to first, the double play. Around the horn for Maine. 5-4-3, and we head to the 7th inning, all knotted up at 4. You're watching Maryland baseball on the Big Ten Plus. Jenkins is 0 for 3 on the afternoon.
Kane, one of the staples of the Maryland bullpen, 8 2/3 innings of work so far on the season. Not allow an earned run last time out. His Old Miss. Last
0-1 upstairs, 1-1. And he's one of the better arms in this bullpen, Brian, but you look at the numbers, 8.31 ERA, 8 earned runs, 9 strikeouts. The strikeouts are there, but the earned runs, more than Coach Vaughn and pitching coach Morrison were hoping. That one swung on and missed 1-2.
Obviously, like you were saying, it is a fact that goes into the decision, but I think head coach Rob Bond is confident in guys willing to put him out there in tight games like this one.
1-2. Fly ball into left center. Ambrose ranging to his right makes the catch at the warning track for out number 1.
Designated hitter Connor Goodman.
Connor Goodman now at the plate, 2 for 3 with a pair of singles on the afternoon. The key to Tommy Kane's success, he has to land the breaking ball, and the fastball plays up when he does land the breaking ball. First pitch outside, 1-0. Coach Vaughn has said in the past that he has to use one or two of his secondary pitches to get hitters off the heater. And right now he comes in as a mid-inning guy, as that one's taken for strike one. And Coach Morrison's looking to use him for about an inning or so, but he can be stretched to 3 or 4 innings, as we saw in this last outing against Ole Miss.
Yeah, like we said, already on the season, 8 2/3 innings of work, almost half what he saw all of last year, 2022, where he had just 15 1/3 innings across the appearance. About a 6.5 ERA.
1-2 count to Goodman. Fly ball to right. Woods is under it. Now comes in, makes the catch. We're out number 2. 2 quick outs for the left-hander out of Broomall, Pennsylvania.
There's definitely something to be said about pitchers like Savic, who we saw yesterday, who are really good with the strikeouts. But there's also something to be said about pitchers who know how to create pop-ups, easy outs for their guys. Don't have to work so hard. Those long pitch counts.
Pitch taken inside the zone for a strike. 4 runs, 11 hits, 1 error for Maine. 4 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Terps. Lefty fires one inside, and it's 0-2. Cloudy 46-degree day here in College Park after a lot of rain yesterday, a lot of wind this morning, but the wind has since died down. Check swing. And the appeal to the first base umpire, he went around. 1, 2, 3. Jenkins, Goodman, and Mejia set down in order. We head to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Stay right with us. We got a good one here on Big Ten Plus. We apologize for the technical difficulties back here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. 4-4 new pitcher on the mound for the Black Bears, Caleb Lees. Pitches as Schliger draws a 5-pitch walk.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
The Sluggers, Maryland Ross.
2 for 3 with a pair of stolen bases today. Outside and low, 1-0. A great chance here for Maryland. The middle of their order due up, 1 down, and getting the leadoff guy on in Schliger. The 1-0. Grounded over the second baseman, McDaniel. Double play opportunity for Maine, and they turn it. 4-6-3. Once again, the Black Bears escape And we head to the top of the 8th inning.
Sargent's been their best guy today so far. 2 for 3 with the home run. Like you said, does have 1 strikeout. But he's been fairly productive from them, keeping them in this game by himself.
Great breaking ball from Tommy Kane for strike 1. Oh, 1. Slide out to right and out of play. 0-2 quickly on the third baseman, Sargent. Having a nice weekend, going 2 for 5 yesterday, 2 for 3 today. 0-2, swung on and missed. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, 1 down here in the 8th. Second strikeout recorded from the left-hander Kane.
Right fielder Colin Plant.
Like we were saying when he first came in, Rob Vaughn trusts Tommy Kane, one of the staples coming out of the bullpen. He's having a good performance so far. Said.
First pitch to Plant, outside and high. The 1-0 right down the heart of the plate, 1-1. Plant singled and was stranded at third over in the 6th. 1-1, softly chopped down the first base side, and the count moves to 1-2.
We get into the final 2 frames of this one, unless we see some extra baseball. It'll be interesting to see what both teams do from a pitching standpoint, from an offensive standpoint, try to get over the hump. 8th and 9th. Maryland, probably the heart of their lineup coming up. Their first 3 able thing. Last half inning.
We saw a lot of times last season Maryland with that penchant for some late inning magic. We saw it earlier this week. Softly hit over the shortstop. Shaw bobbles it and unable to field it cleanly. It's a 1-out runner reached for the Black Bears.
Just an uncharacteristic error from Shaw there. He was trying to get it barehanded. Trying to do too much there. Bobbled it.
Catcher Dean O'Neill.
Couldn't get a throw off.
A rare fielding mistake from Shaw. He's been so good over there at shortstop. An error, E6 from Shaw. O'Neill now at the plate. Check swing, first pitch. Outside, 1-0. O'Neill 2 for 3 in his first career college start. A double and an RBI single in the 6th. 1-0. Outside and low, 2-0.
Now runner on first. 2-0 count, 1 out. Interesting to see what Tommy Kane does here. Would not want to walk 2 men. Or not want to have 2 on. He had the walk, just 1 out. A tight game here in the late inning.
Precarious position for Maryland. Now it's 3-0. The 9-hole hitter up in McNary, but again, he's had a lot of success today with 2 hits. 3-0. Outside part of the plate, a big strike for Kane. Certainly don't want 2 runners on with 1 out with top of your order looming. 3-1 pitch. Lined into left for a base hit. And O'Neill continues an excellent day at the plate. He's now 3 for 4. So Plant moves to second. That brings up the center fielder, McNary. You look at that, just a nice piece of hitting, Brian.
Like we said, you know, Maryland is able to work late into those counts too, but Maine has shown their own patience. Obviously, we know McDaniel works well into late counts with walks, but good to see the bottom of the order guys not wavering in the face of this Maryland pitch.
We saw a little MJ shrug from O'Neill after that hit, rounding first base. Now first pitch to McNary in there for a strike.
Like you said, with the top of the order looming, we haven't really heard Jake Rain's name called. Just over 4 on the day. He's on deck, but it'll be time for Junior to get going.
0-1 from the left-hander. In the dirt, check swing. And the first base umpire, Wilson Rayner, says he went around. So 0-2 quickly on McNary. A big spot here for the left-hander Kane. 2 on, 1 out. All knotted up at 4. We have an excellent ball game brewing here in College Park. 0-2 on the way. Swung on and missed. Pulled on the breaking pitch. 3 pitches, 3 strikes. And that's the second out of the inning. And a chance for Jake Grains, the shortstop, to make amends.
That was a huge play for Tommy Kane, because now with 2 outs, there's a force at any base. Could get out of this stick situation easily.
Grains 0 for 4 on the day with 2 strikeouts. Kane now up to 3 strikeouts on the afternoon. Certainly don't want to bring up the next hitter in Quinn McDaniel, as he's been one of the hottest hitters in the nation. Strike 1 taken to Rains.
Like you said, Tommy Kane does not want to see Quinn McDaniel coming up to play. Just a master of getting on base. If he does come on, it would be in a bases loaded situation, and getting on base is all what Maine would need. Bring a runner home.
0-1. Rains out in front of it, and he's quickly down 0-2. 2 on, 2 out. Tied up at 4 in the top of the 8th.
0-2 now. Tommy Kane can go to any variety of his pitches.
0-2 from the left-hander, and it hits the back heel of Rains. Trots over the first, and what a matchup we have here. The nearly 500 average hitter in McDaniel against the left-hander in Kane. Bases loaded, tied up at 4 in the top of the 8th.
Looks like Rob Bond is going to come on and have a word with his pitcher. He makes a call to the bullpen here in a sticky situation. Like we said, obviously, Tommy Kane did not want to see Quinn McDaniel come up in a bases loaded situation. Loaded. But Belgrave's only allowed 3 hits their season, 5 appearances. Struck out 4 in a row against West Virginia.
First pitch down the heart of the plate for strike 1. Coming off an outing, only give up 1 hit, 1 earned run in 3 innings pitched against Vanderbilt back on March 4th. Hasn't allowed more than 1 hit in any of his 5 appearances. 0-1. This is outside and low, 1-1.
Belgrave joined Matt Shaw in the Cape Cod League and was champion for Foreign Brave, putting in key innings in relief and closing over the summer. Do the same here.
1-1. Cuts outside, 2-1. Belgrave armed with the 2-seam fastball, sits in the mid-90s, has the slider and cutter as well. He's great against right-handers like McDaniel, especially with the breaking ball. Fires the pitch outside, 3-1.
It's going to be a hitter's count for one of the best hitters in all of college baseball right now.
Belgrave's only walked 3. The 3-1 pitch. Right down the heart of the plate. And McDaniel thought it was a little high. He was half a step on his way to first base. 3-2, 2 out, bases loaded, tied up at 4.
This is one of the scenarios you'd dream as a kid growing up playing baseball in your backyard.
3-2 from Belgrave. Right down the heart of the plate, strike 3 called. Belgrave, he has his name called, and he steps up big.
New pitcher out there from Maine, Ryan Scott, sophomore. Just 2/3 innings pitched each of his last 2 appearances. Allowed 2 hits, earned run, and a home run last time out, going against one of the more prolific home run hitters on this Maryland lineup, Ian Petruz.
Scott from Wapansus, New Brunswick in Canada. Pitch inner part of the plate, strike 1. Transfer from Yavapai Community College, was previously at Sacramento State before that. Yavapai about 2.5 hours north of Phoenix, located in Prescott, Arizona. Sure like to be in sunny Arizona right about now. The 1-1, outside and high, 2-1. Lees goes 1 inning, 1 walk, 3 batters faced. 2-1 pitch. Inside part of the plate, Petruz doesn't like it. It's 2-2.
Petruz, like we said earlier, no batting glove. This windy, cold weather out here doesn't seem to have affected him that much, though.
Scott's 2-2. Tails outside and low, 3-2. Once again, the 3-man infield not being employed on the right side of second base to Petruz.
Petruz, one of 2 Maryland starters without a hit today, being first baseman Eddie Hakopian.
They changed that with 1 swing. And the 3-2 fouled away into the on-deck circle. Brian, a nice battle here between Petruz and Scott.
Yeah, and in these late inning scenarios, Ian Petruz is one of the guys that I think head coach Rob Vaughn really wants at the plate. Obviously today, he is 0 for 3 with the strikeout, but anything's possible. Last couple innings here, game tied at 4.
4 runs on 12 hits for Maine, 4 runs on 9 hits for the Terps. That one's ripped to right. Going back, plan at the track, at the wall, it's gone! Petruz, a big drive into right, gives the Terps a 5-4 lead in the 8th.
And like we just said, this is what head coach Rob Vaughn wanted out of his slugger right here. Was hitless so far in the game today. Just goes absolutely yard. Got every stitch of that ball to give Maryland the lead back, 5-4 Terps.
Now with 14 RBIs. And the 0-1. Sprayed foul down the first base side. Keister has reached twice on 2 infield singles this afternoon.
We saw in that last at-bat, Petruz able to work himself deep in the count, didn't waver, waited for the pitch he liked, and was just all over that ball.
Now the 0-2. Inside and high from Scott, 1-2. Well, Petruz certainly welcomed the right-hander Scott into the game in a big way.
Now 2 home runs allowed in his 2 most recent outings. Yeah, he bounces back from that one.
1-2. A high fly ball into center. McNary under it, coming in, now drifting back and makes the catch. 1 down, that brings up the left fielder Woods. First pitch of the transfer out in front of it. Swung on and missed for strike 1. And going back to last weekend, playing at US Bank Stadium, he described it as kind of like playing in a backyard baseball scene, for people who may be familiar with that video game. Now the 0-1, waved at and missed, strike 2, because they're playing on a football field inside a dome, but on the baseball field. So it was a interesting experience for him and the rest of the Terps. Obviously, the weekend didn't go as expected as they dropped all 3 games, but looking for their 3rd consecutive win of this week, the 0-2. Outside part of the plate, strike 3 called.
Could change that now.
Shows bunt, reaches for it, and in front of it, it's strike 1, 0-1. He'll be in 1 homer, 8 RBIs on the season. Came around to score back in the 4th on the fielder's choice. 0-1. Pop foul down the first base side, 0-2. The right-hander Scott Bryan has responded nicely after giving up the solo shot to Petruz.
Yeah, he has, but obviously the solo home run being the story of this inning. Maryland getting their first score since the bottom of the 4th. Scott has bounced back nicely. Is it too little too late for the Maine reliever?
0-2 outside and low, 1-2. Hakopian nearly hitting 400, reaching base at a 45% clip last year out in California at Cypress College. He's always wanted to play at Maryland. He called it a dream come true. The 1-2. Got foul to the on-deck circle. A nice snag by Zmarzlak over there. Terps lead 5-4 thanks to a leadoff shot from Petruz in the 8th. That was his first hit of the day, and it came in quite a big way. 1-2 from Scott. Fouled back over our heads here in the press box. Count remains 1-2.
Hakopian does not want to go down without a fight. 1 count, 2 foul offs. He's trying to work his way to his first hit of the game off the sophomore Scott.
1-2. Nice layoff from Hakopian, and the count moves to even at 2. 2-2, 2 outs.
Despite all these Maryland hitters working deep into these counts, they've only been walked once this game.
2-2 from Scott. Tails outside, 3-2.
Might have our second of the game here. Scott seeming a little rattled after the home run, did bounce back and retire the next 2, but is getting a heavy fight from Eddie Hakopian.
Hakopian very disciplined at the plate. 3-2. Line down the third base side, backhanded play from Sargent. Gets up, throws. A great pick from Jenkins, but his foot comes off the bag, and Hakopian safe over at first.
Zmarzlak 1-3 on the day.
First pitch to the left fielder, out in front of it. Cut on and miss for strike 1. Zmarzlak still looking for his first homer of 2023.
Number 14 in the single season record for home run season.
0-1. Hakopian off and running. Outside and low. Throw down to second, not in time. Then the shortstop the second baseman McDaniel tried to deke the runner Hakopian, thinking it went into center field.
That's the second or third time I've seen today that they've done that.
Wasn't going to fool Hakopian. Take his lead off of second.
Number of steal attempts. Terps.
Hakopian looked like he might be off and running on that pitch, but pulls back to second. Pitch outside and low, 2-1.
Looking to run and get some insurance there now and score 2 outs.
11 hits on the afternoon for Maryland after 19 yesterday. Off speed inside. Zmarzlak takes 3-1. Maryland looking to add some insurance after the go-ahead shot in the bottom half of the frame.
The hitters count for Zmarzlak here. Probably get some nice to hit or a free base.
3-1 outside. Zmarzlak takes, works the 5-pitch walk. 2 on, 2 out for the center fielder Lambros.
2 innings. 2 1/3 total pitch.
First pitch from Baines inside for a strike. Lambros with a single back in the 4th, rather into a 5-4-3 double play to end the 6th. Hakopian at second, and Zmarzlak over at first. 0-1 pitch. Popped up foul. Lambros late on that one. The count moves to 0-2. Baines last appeared on Sunday in the win against Winthrop. 1 inning, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, and a strikeout. Led the East Coast Conference last year with St. Thomas Aquinas with 8 saves.
Got a tough task here. One of the hottest bats Maryland roster, and if he's able to get on base, he's going to turn it over. Schliger, Russo, and Shaw to top of the order.
The pitch tails inside, so 1-2 to the South Carolina transfer. Both runners take their lead. 1-2 on the way. Inside part of the plate, strike 3 called. Lambros doesn't like it, and we head to the 9th inning. Nigel Belgrave looking to finish the game off for Maryland. They lead 5-4. 3-4-5 due up for the Black Bears. Jenkins at the plate. Just outside, takes ball one. Jenkins 0 for 4 on the afternoon. Coming into today, hitting just over 360. 1-0. Inside and low, 2-0. Tie for second in the America East Conference home runs. Top 5 in hits, total bases, RBIs, and runs as well. 2-0 pitch. Fouled back, 2-1. One defensive change. Jacob Orr replacing Zmarzlak out in left field. Looks like the sun's starting to peek through the clouds. Pitch is high and outside, 3-1. Maybe that's just the lights.
Belgrave on the mound now. Crucial pitch here, 3-1 count.
Outside, and nobody said this was going to be easy. Jenkins works the leadoff walk. That brings up the cleanup hitter and the DH Goodman.
Designated hitter, Connor Goodman.
Goodman on the day, 2 for 4. Singles, no RBIs. Has chance here with a man on first.
Shows bunt, kicks outside, ball one. That was the issue with Belgrave last year, was his control, but what has made him so electric this year has been his control. He's been in control of the zone and looking to keep doing that throughout this outing. Down the heart of the plate, 1-1.
Like Goodman is elected for the sacrifice bunt. His man in the scoring over at second.
His cutter and slider have been great this season. We've seen the slider up to 95. Now a hit and run. That's chopped into right field for a base hit. Jenkins rounding second, on his way to third, standing. And Connor Goodman with a big yell towards the bench. He's fired up. So are the Maine faithful in front of us. First and third, no outs here for Maine. Hit and run executed to perfection.
It looks like Kevin Keishler was there in the gap, just played the ball incorrectly on the hop. As you can see, started running toward the second base bag to cover instead of playing the ball, and that allowed it to squeak through in the outfield. Put runners on the corners. Oh, out.
Now the left fielder, Jeff Mejia. A big spot for the Black Bears. Takes inside, 1-0. 1 for 2 on the day, a strikeout, and an infield single came around to score in the second. Jenkins led the inning off with a walk, moved to third on the single from Goodman. 1-0, shows bunt, ball gets all the way to the backstop, and Schlicker able to pick it up quickly. Now we're seeing a little bit of control issues from Belgrave, as I mentioned, saw a lot of last year.
Goodman advances to second. That wild pitch. See what Belgrave's made of here in the top of the ninth. Chance to close this one out, but now with 2 runners in scoring position. On the season, Mejia has 2 RBIs. Looking to get 2 more to give Maine back the lead. Belgrave check wrist. From Schlicker.
Now the 2-0 from the right-hander. Outside, 3-0. And Mejia's an on-base machine. Getting on base at over 400 clip this season. And he reached base at an over 400 clip last season as well.
Belgrave now.
3-0, waved at and missed. A big strike for Belgrave.
I was going to say Belgrave now could lose his man there on the 3-0 count. Now works it back to 3-1. Could put him on first, doesn't want.
3-1 outside, and the base is now loaded for Maine.
Schlicker is going to have a conference with his closer here.
3-game set this weekend in College Park. Out in front of that pitch, swung on and missed for strike one.
Sargent betting well over 300 on the season. 3 for 5 last night. 2 RBIs on the day so far. For anything else he can get.
0-1, waved at and missed, strike two.
Now
Bases loaded, no outs.
Now Now with his back against the wall, Belgrave starting to throw some heat.
Takes a deep breath. 0-2 on the way. Tails outside, 1-2. Mejia at first, Goodman on second, Jenkins over at third. Walk, single, walk. Here to start the ninth. 1-2 pitch. Cut on and miss, strike three. A huge strikeout from the right-hander.
And that's huge for Belgrave, the rest of his Maryland offense. Now double play is in order. Could end the game there. Getting a pinch runner here on third. That'll be Mike Prate, sophomore outfielder, in for Jeremiah Jenkins.
Pitch running at third base for Jenkins, number 19, Mike Pratt.
Mike Pratt, no over at third base. 5 strikeouts on the afternoon from the right-hander. Coming into today, 23 strikeouts over only 7 2/3 innings for Belgrave. First pitch, chopped foul in front of the on-deck circle, 0-1.
First and third playing in closely here, guarding against squeeze attempt.
Belgrave sets. 0-1 offering. Cut on and miss, strike two.
Huge pitch now going up 0-2 on the mound here.
Belgrave has struck out all 5 batters for the outs he's recorded. 0-2. Cut on and miss, strike three. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, 2 down in the ninth.
Belgrave showing no fear in the face of the bases loaded. Brings up Dean O'Neill, the freshman getting his first collegiate start in quite possibly the biggest scenario of his life.
First pitch to O'Neill, takes inside. Side part of the plate for strike one.
Belgrave is hot now, finding a rhythm. That's 4 straight strikes.
An excellent matchup here with the freshman O'Neill. 0-1, cut on and miss, strike two. O'Neill has had a lot of success today. Can he dip into his bag of success one more time? 0-2, 2 outs, bases loaded.
0-2 now, some of the crowd's getting up on their feet.
Belgrave trying to work out of a bases loaded jam. Dean lays off. Smart layoff to keep this game alive for the Black Bears.
But with the off-speed pitch there to make it a 1-2 count, still has everything available in his arsenal to go to.
Dean at the belt. 1-2 pitch. Just outside. Another excellent take from the catcher O'Neill. Terps lead by 1. Top of the ninth inning. 2-2, 2 outs. Bases full for the Black Bears. 2-2 from Belgrave. Outside corner. Strike three called. Belgrave works out of a bases loaded, no outs jam to seal the deal and the series win for the Terps.
Just an absolute clinic on the mound from Belgrave in that last one. Put it right down the middle, froze O'Neill. 3 left on base. Terps win.